Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about my longer term price prediction for Bitcoin. These price predictions are not based on any sort of fundamentals, only what I see in the price action. Also, I'm more than happy to change my stance if the price action tells me to. Because normally when I do any trading, it's on a much smaller time scale than this. I'm totally okay playing this market to the downside too by shorting if the opportunity arises. These prices will fluctuate plenty between the moves I'll be talking about here today. This is more so for the months and years to come, not so much worried about the day-to-day movements. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. Don't be an idiot, blah blah blah. I'm by no means a professional. Do your own research. Now, first thing I would like to get into is previous price behavior when it comes to some of my favorite patterns, which would be triangles or wedges. Each of these price candles are a week's worth of trading action, so these patterns are actually playing out over the course of many months. Now then, let's go back to the beginning of the Bitstamp Bitcoin price chart when Bitcoin was just a pup. Now here you can see had our first little triangular consolidation, and as soon as it broke out it obviously took a massive rip to the upside. Here we had another little bit of a consolidation, wham, rip to the upside. Here we had another consolidation and a bit of a triangle, rip to the upside. Now here is our first, well, actually not really our first, but here's the first noticeable sell-off, let's say, after the first halving. So then here eventually we did form a bit of a falling wedge, which is generally a bullish pattern. So as soon as it broke out and retested the old resistance as new support, it was a successful flip and we started going back to the upside, started trending up. Had this bullish triangle form here, and then we started ripping to the upside and had this massive rally here. Now we have more recent price action. Here we had this big wedge here form, broke to the upside. That is actually a really big profit there. That is about 225% of an increase or so. Now here we have another wedge forming, so I'm kind of under the impression that right now, if we break to the upside of this purple wedge here, we might see another beautiful rip to the upside, and it might be worth trading Bitcoin to the bullish side in the not too distant future here. Here I have my white trend lines. They're a little longer term yet. So if this purple triangle can break us above this white resistance here, I think Bitcoin is going to go for a massive rip there. If I switch to the logarithmic scale here, just so I can fit all of the price action into one picture here, I've drawn out these vertical yellow lines here. They're approximate dates for the previous Bitcoin halvings. If you don't know what that is, you'd have to look it up. It would be one of the main fundamentals of it. Anyways, it gets harder to mine Bitcoin or get your rewards are cut in half, and I don't know too much about it. All I am looking at is the price action, so that's one of those do your own research things. All I know is how Bitcoin has been acting price-wise going into those dates in the past. So here I have more triangles outlined where Bitcoin has had breakouts. Now, most of the general public is actually only aware of pretty much this red circled area here. That is when Bitcoin went on its journey to $20,000, and then the media was all over it. Everyone remembers hearing about it then. And then as far as everyone else is concerned, Bitcoin basically crashed, and that's the end of Bitcoin. Goodbye, game over. But we've seen this before, and I don't think it's out of the ordinary what happened here. If we go back, there's a lot of things leading me to believe that Bitcoin might see all-time highs above $20,000 within the next year or two. Some of those reasons are these triangle breakouts. I also have these lines, these green lines of support that Bitcoin has formed going into these halving dates. And so you can see that this was the first one here, held its green line of support, triangle breakout. Let's see what size of a move that was from the halving date. Approximately a 11 or 12,000% move to the upside. Ridiculous, right? But nobody even really remembers that move. They remember this move, where since the last halving, Bitcoin would have rose almost 4,000%. Still a ridiculous amount of profit there. But that's the one most people remember. And then they also remember that Bitcoin has recently crashed. Okay, we got about 85% to the downside from our all-time highs. And this is why everyone thinks that it was game over for Bitcoin, but look at this previous one. 88%. Pretty much the same drop after we had our halving. We had our massive pump. We had our bear market, 88%. Had our halving, holding the green support. Had our massive pump. Had our 85% retracement. And here we go, holding a green support line, breaking out of triangles, moving towards the halving date. So, I mean, history doesn't have to repeat itself, but just from a technical analysis standpoint here, I mean, most markets do tend to grow in general, and this just looks like a good opportunity to me of being able to catch some good trades in the long positions, possibly use a little bit of leverage. I mean, even if these percentages, these breakouts are getting smaller on a percentage scale, I mean, now we can trade with leverage up to 100 times. I mean, I think that's foolish because you can very easily get liquidated out of your positions. But even 5 or 10 times leverage, you can see ridiculous gains if you were to be playing both longs and shorts in those markets, because the prices are going to fluctuate like crazy in these moves because these are very long time frames. Anyways, guys, that about sums up my price prediction theories for Bitcoin here. This is, well, one of my theories. I'm hoping to do a lot more of these videos in the future, including showing current trade strategies, short-term to mid-term analysis, stock analysis, and stuff like that. So if you are at all interested in that sort of thing, could you do me a favor and like and subscribe to my channel? That would be super cool of you. Anyways, thanks guys, and have a good one.